Welcome to the farm.
Welcome to the farm. I'm Justin, and today we're going to work on finishing up that garage behind me. Before we do that, I want to get this case tractor put away. I think we're going to end up putting it in the barn. Measured it out, it should fit, be easier to work on. And unfortunately, I think the Kubota is going to end up sitting out in this garage here, just because the only time I use that in the winter is for plowing snow. So the gator will go where the Kubota was, the case will go where the gator was, and hopefully that'll all work out. So let's go ahead and get this case moved if we can.
Ideally, the way I'd like to move the case tractor would be to hook it up to the back of the Kubota and drag it with someone steering it. Unfortunately, I'm by myself, so I don't have someone to steer the tractor for me. So what we're going to try to do is use the pallet fork frame. I thought about using the bucket because I have a welded on hook that I could use to wrap a chain around, but the bucket's kind of wide and cumbersome. The pallet fork frame with the forks off is pretty narrow. I can see through it, and I think I have less of a chance of hitting things with that. So we're going to grab a chain, wrap it around the front of the tractor, the case, wrap it around the pallet fork frame, and see if we can't get this moved in the barn by ourselves. So if I remember correctly from the manual, the case tractor weighs about 4,000 pounds, and I believe the Kubota is only rated to lift 900 to 1,000 pounds with the front end loader. And as you can see here, my back tire is actually lifting off the ground a little bit because I have my box blade on, not my counterweight. Ideally, I would like to be able to lift the front of the case tractor off the ground so that way I can pivot on the rear tires without the front tire making any drag or resistance. Since I'm going backwards, it didn't want to lift, and it made turning it a little more difficult. It's not helping my cause that the tongue of my trailer is sticking out in the direct straight path of pulling out that case tractor, so I have to pull this to get it out around the trailer and then be able to turn to be able to push it into the barn, making it a little more difficult as well. I'm being very careful and watching very closely to make sure I'm not getting that chain into the steering mechanism. I don't want to damage that. Also making sure I don't get my pallet fork frame into the grill of the tractor. I do have a replacement grill that's a lot better than the one that's on there. I still don't want to do any more damage to it than it already has.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think this looks pretty good in the barn. I'm really excited to have it in here. That means I can start tinkering on it soon. I was a little concerned the Kubota wasn't going to do it there for a second, but she got her in there. It would have been a lot easier if I had my counterweight on versus the box blade just because it's heavier, but we got it, so I'm excited. All right, let's get back on the Kubota. Let's get that garage finished up so I have a place to store that Kubota over the winter.
The next thing I need to do for this garage is put my gravel in, because as you can tell, it is super muddy and slick inside there. So I just want to put a nice layer of gravel in there just to keep everything out of the mud. The gravel's still going to sink into the mud. I'm going to have to fix it in spring. I'm not overly concerned about that now. I just need something to get me through the winter. Unfortunately, with as muddy as it is, I can't get as close to the side of the garage as I would like to with the tractor bucket. So, unfortunately, it's time for some manual labor. Let's bust out the shovel, move some gravel. And now back to shoveling. Now that I got the gravel spread out pretty good, I'm just going to take the bucket and knock down the high spots and try to get it as close as I can. Like I said before, it's so muddy and soft underneath that it's really not going to matter as I drive on it. It's all going to sink and settle anyway. But try to make it look as nice as I can. The last thing I really need to do to complete this garage build project for winter is make a better ramp out front here. You can see it's pretty steep. So I'm going to take some of that topsoil dirt that I graded off in the very first video of this series, and I'm actually going to use that to make my ramp. As I was looking at the topsoil, it's really rocky, you know, it's really not that great to spread over the top and try to plant grass. So I'm just going to use it for a ramp and put some gravel on it, and we'll call this part of the project done. So now that I got that ramp built and graded off as good as I need to have it for getting me through the winter, I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup to get ready for snow coming. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this partial pile of gravel. I'm going to push it onto the other pile of gravel because this is where I plow all my snow to in winter. So I don't want this half pile being in the way and limiting how much snow I can pile there. So we're just going to push it and get it out of the way. So the last thing I'm going to work on is cleaning up this topsoil pile, because right now it's in a prime location and we need to get it out of the way because that is our sledding hill. And I don't think it would work really well to have a big pile of dirt in the middle of our sledding hill. Now that I'm looking at it though, it might have been fun to kind of make it into a little ramp, but I don't think mine and Dana's back would appreciate that very much. I'm sure Cadence would love it, but I don't think we would. So, yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to move this pile and make Cadence happy.
Well, I said at the beginning of the video, I was hoping to get stuff stored away, and, well, I got one thing. Tractor. Fits in there nice. I'm hoping that tomorrow the rain holds off long enough that I can get some stuff put away, maybe get a little grading on the other side of the barn done. I checked the weather. According to the hourly, it's not supposed to start raining until like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so that should give me a few hours in the morning to get some stuff done. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you guys found it interesting. If you did, please like it. I'd really appreciate it. Also, consider subscribing. We got grading to do, hopefully tomorrow. We got more stuff to do in here, and we're going to be starting on some barn projects and hopefully starting on that case tractor really soon. So consider subscribing so you don't miss all that. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.